Hello, it's Monday, and we're back here on Monday. Monday Market 15, Robert Morales, RCO Network, here live on maybe one or two platforms. I have no idea. I think we're on LinkedIn. I think we're on Twitch, but that's about it. Facebook is down, and we're going crazy. So with that said, I would like to introduce my esteemed, lovely, and fantastically fabulous co-host, Miss Ashley Mill. Yeah. There she is.
Happy Monday. It's 10-4 over now.
That's right. What?
10-4 over now.
In and out? No.
Well, that's the only way I can tell people to remember my birthday.
Oh, it's happy birthday. And so since we have Ashley here, it is her birthday. So happy birthday, miss.
Thank you. Did you already forget?
Oh, did I already forget? I don't.
Since this morning?
I don't know. Did I forget? Let me see. Maybe, but I don't know if I forgot to get you this. She hates cake, by the way.
But I love bun cake.
But she likes bun cake, and I got her raspberry white chocolate. Happy birthday, miss.
And raspberry. Everyone who's watching this who knows me knows that I love raspberry like more than anything. Like raspberry Pop-Tarts, raspberry lemonade, raspberry everything.
So I got her a cake for her birthday. Except the only thing I didn't get her was a spoon to eat it. I just realized that.
Spoon.
She uses her mouth very, very constructively, I'm sure.
I am, and I'm about to use it very constructively right now. And this is kind of the topic of conversation today is about age and aging. So real estate and aging. As we're going through this whole pandemic and COVID and what's happening with us, I feel like it's changing, and we've discussed this before. Let me get a little bit closer to this, but the trajectory of the average home buyer. And we've talked about, like, back on the East Coast, most people stay at home with their children or their children until an elder age, until they are married off, and that's more the traditional way. But Arizona really never was in that space. We're very, like, West Coast kind of hippie gypsies, in my opinion. Yeah. So I researched or looked up a stat that since the 80s, which, I'm an 80s baby, so from the 1980s till now, the average age of a home buyer has increased by 16 years. So if we take the average age of a home buyer right now, which appears to be 30 to 39 years old, plus 16, which makes currently year to date 45 to 47 years old for the average home buyer.
Look at that. We even had an article support that information.
Oh, look. That's so fancy. How'd you do that? Oh, look, my hair extension is showing because, I'm getting old, so I have to wear hair extensions. So it's so intriguing. And it makes me sad.
Why?
Well, because
you're getting older?
Not. Oh, I love aging. I have no problem with that. Botox.
I think she's having a thing today because she just turned 24. 39. Oh, you turned 39. Oh, shit. I'm off.
Prepping for home buying. And I don't feel as if we were prepped in our decade. No, for just like our age group.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't feel like our age group is prepping the future. Like I have a almost 17-year-old and prepping him and preparing him. Well, I am because I'm OCD, anal retentive, like crazy trained mom. So I am prepping him. Yeah. However, the future, how are they being prepped or have they been prepped? And I want to ask this question. Unfortunately, we're not live on Facebook because it's down. Does anybody know why? If you're on LinkedIn, can you comment?
I think they got hacked. I don't know. Something. The only platforms are on right now is Twitch and LinkedIn. So anybody out there. So
if you're a Twitcher, can you comment? Like, I have no idea what's going on.
If you're twitching right now, give us a comment.
Is it because we're I had children very young. Yeah. And, got pregnant at 22, had children at 23. Are we slowly progressing to an older age? Is this not just a real estate thing? Is this just like a generational thing? I don't know.
I think it really depends on when you were born. If you were born to parents who are older, you're typically going to follow in their footsteps and have children older. And usually if you're older and having kids, then you're a little bit more established than when you're like 20 and still scraping by, And so I think there's a certain subculture to all that. And when you referenced Arizona, I unscientifically, I would assume Arizona would have been like half like retirees and half younger people, because we don't necessarily have a tremendous amount of like industries. Huh?
I'm gonna see if there's a stat on that.
Oh. So I don't really see Arizona as having a tremendous amount of industry. We do have a lot of companies. We do have some industries like Boeing and stuff here, but if you look at Intel and Boeing, those are your skills and education, type jobs. They're not like American Express is another one that's here in town.
Yeah, that's huge.
Where that's more of like a call center. So I don't know if there's like a tremendous amount of like middle-aged group people here for the longest time. I think there are now based on, just some of the market shifts and where we're at. But I would have assumed that a large portion of Arizona would have been retirees and then younger couples, because this is just more affordable area for that.
Well, it says right now, total occupied homes in Arizona with people under 18 is 2.3 million. Yeah, that's kind of actually a really boring stat.
You're looking up stats during the show.
I know. Well, because you brought that up, and I'm actually curious of how many people in Arizona actually have a second home here that are retirees versus the young first-time home buyers. That's a great stat we should actually look up. I'm very curious.
We should make a mental note. Or a couple notes to look it up. But, the course of like this whole virus thing, right? Has, I think, shifted, our demographics here in Phoenix and in Arizona. I think, people moved from out of state just because it was affordable. Again, before the virus and the sickness, there wasn't a whole lot of infrastructure here. Like the downtown is just kind of dead.
Yeah.
And outside of a sports event, it's just kind of dead.
Yeah,
and there's always been kind of a push to get people more downtown to Metro Phoenix. And it just never catches, and they do all these renovations when they did the U.S. Airways or whatever it is, Salt River. Now I don't remember. Chase Field.
I still call it Bob.
Banquet Ballpark. She's old school. She's old school Phoenician, but I think the demographics have changed a little bit. People leaving California came to a more affordable area, and they just drove up the prices. And because the virus allowed us to move and work from wherever, I mean, now we've just kind of across the board, the demographics changed. I don't know what it is. I wish I had looked up the stats too.
And I think my purpose is from, owning my first house at 23 and then another house and then.
You owned a house at 23?
When I was, 23.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good for
23.
She's a gooder. I tell you, this one's a gooder.
I'll tell you what.
She's a catch.
I didn't have anybody who prepped me. I didn't have anybody. So a few of I'm going to pull up my notes right here so I don't have to keep turning away. But having knowledge and, understanding your spending, understanding your credit score, watching your credit score. There's some amazing apps for that. And if you have questions about that, you can reach out to me. Understanding the tax breaks. Of owning a home, and you get to lock in your monthly payment, because in the state of Arizona versus where it's different on the East Coast, they have controlled rent. Out here, we don't have controlled rent. So if your lease comes up and you don't sign a new one within the 60 days, it's going to go up. And this is an interesting fact, and this is a true fact, and it actually happened to me. I was renting a townhome in the process of purchasing my home, and my townhome went from like $2,300 a month to it was almost $2,800. Well, then I purchased my home, and my home, after I purchasing everything, it's $2,200 a month. That's never going to change. I already knew I was comfortable with $2,200 because I was already paying it. I knew that I didn't like $2,789, right? Yeah. But when I looked up the rent stats, it said the average rent for a family, it's 2.68 people per household. That's assuming a mom and a dad and maybe a dog or half of a child. I don't know what 2.68 means of a human. But
just an average.
2,800 versus 2,200, and it's never going to change because it's my home and it's my place. Is there more responsibility? Heck yeah, it is. But I know that when my 12 months is up, I'm still paying $2,200 because I have a 30-year. So when my 30 months up, maybe I can start questioning it.
So you're encouraging people to purchase outside of rent?
100%, because look at interest rates right now. And I'll allow you to share that if you have a screenshot of that.
I might have a screenshot of that.
Oh, there's my, this is why I'm getting old. My hair is falling. I'm getting so
Thankfully,
old.
you have a house, so you don't have to,
Maybe that's why my hair is falling. I'm just kidding. No, it's not. Buying a house can be stressful. However, at the end of the day, I know that I am responsible for it, and I don't have anybody that can tell me that my rent's going to go up.
So what you're looking at right now is where am I at? FreddieMac.com. So this is information regarding recent rate increases. So part of the show today was to talk a little bit about rate increases, and because there's inflation basically everywhere, and you can't get away from it, and it's permeating in every aspect, in everything that we're doing. Between gas, between food. Particularly rentals right now. Rentals are just going crazy. I was thinking about listing my condo to rent, and roughly about $1,500 a month. And looking at comps today, I could probably get between $1,600 to $1,700.
So I have a funny story to tell you about that.
Oh,
This is
boy.
a side note. As we were talking about, my mortgage $2,200.
Yeah.
And I was looking at rentals in my area, and my rentals have now increased my area to $3,200.
Yeah.
So if I technically rented out my house and went back to renting and paying $2,800, what's $3,200 minus $2,800? I would actually profit $400 from buying my house, renting it out, renting, and then profiting $400 a month, and going back to the tax break, the monthly payment lock-in, and I'm still increasing my credit score. So basically what I'm saying is, buy a house for an investment at this point because rates are going up. Can you go back to that screen one more time? This kind of concerns me a little bit because rates last week were like 2.8, 2.75, somewhere in 2.5, and then 15 years we're at 1.75. So it's steadily increasing. So anybody who has any reservation at this point, and first of all, who does ARMs anymore? Sorry.
It's on here. There are some strategies behind doing ARMs if you're going to flip a house.
I gather that for sure. But so these rates they're increasing, and granted, this is just one. We said this is Freddie Mac.
Yeah, this is FreddieMac.com. So if you go to the website, you can kind of look up rates and how they're going. 30-year fixed right now is roughly about 3.01 on average, and that's with I believe a higher credit score. So a 760 and above. Of course, your rate tends to go a little bit higher the less of a credit score that you have.
Right. Oh, yeah. So, obviously, these are based upon the best case scenario. Well, an average case scenario, perhaps, right? So even with that being said, put all that beside because that point is mute. It doesn't matter if you have a high credit score or a low credit score. You can see the trajectory or the increase in rate. So whether you're at a 580 or a 600 or a 780 or, God bless who are at like 810, which, I haven't seen anybody higher than an 818 ever in my career in real estate. But when we look at this, a 3 and a 2.8, it's continuously to increase. So what is stopping these people from purchasing a home? Rent and inventory.
Well, inventory is usually the big one, but, I think there are some reservations in getting in the market too. A lot of people that I talk to have been going out there if they're pre-qualified and they're looking for a house right now, and they're just scared and intimidated, not because they only, most people only have enough. First-time home buyers really only have enough for the down payment, and FHA is typically your quote-unquote first-time home buyer program, and that's designed for first-time home buyers because it's such a low down payment.
But they could do a DPA. Like I told you guys, not trying to be fancy, but I bought my last house as a DPA, down payment assistance. And if you guys have watched us for quite some time, I actually got a check back for $928 or $68. Yeah. I got a check back to me for that. And my credit score, I think, was at that time like 648, I believe. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't perfect. And the point of the matter is there's so many solutions for people to purchase. And looking at the rents right now versus what a mortgage could be. And when you do a DPA, it's not that rate. It's higher. I think I'm at like a 4% or something.
Well, the risk is the risk is higher for the investors.
I'm a higher risk because I'm not putting any of my own money into it. So when you see these rates and you're like, oh, the rate is 3.01%, but now I can do a DPA with no money down. My interest rate is going to be higher. Yeah. I'm still looking at the same numbers: rent 28 versus mortgage 2,200. I absolutely agree. In this environment, about 6 months ago, I would have said,
find some sort of rental because the price of the homes went too far.
Yeah.
But because there's about a 6-month lag behind rentals behind home purchases, now we're kind of starting to see that competition in the rental market because people have been priced out in the purchase market. So now that rates are increasing, we're starting to see a little bit more supply.
Right.
But the rental rates are still catching up. So you'll have, they're not inverse, but it's kind of a following or dragging along. So as the price of homes went up between, January to June, 6 months later, guess what? The rental prices are now skyrocketing just in that same kind of capacity, that same trajectory. And I don't believe we're going to see any kind of slowing because people are still moving here.
They're still moving here. And as the apartment complexes, to be very blunt, or investors, they're seeing they actually control the rental market.
Yeah,
they control it. So why not take control before the rates just?
Yes, and as rates go up, prices will definitely come down. So it's the 10x effect. So for every 1% the rate increases, you'll see about a 10% drop in price. So because we had a 0.25% increase in these last week, let me put that back up.
Mm-hmm. Take the screen off me so I can fix my hair.
Here, let me.
And they can probably still see this.
You can still see a little bit.
I don't care if they can see that I'm fixing my hair.
But if you go back to the rates here in the last week, September 23rd to now, like I said, it's increased about a 0.25%. So you should see in the next 2 to 3 months a 25% or no, sorry, 2.5% drop in prices. If it goes up anymore, which this could have some seasonality tied into it. Typically, rates tend to drop in November, December, but only because nobody's really shopping for houses. People are, buying Thanksgiving stuff and buying presents. But this market isn't necessarily your common or typical market.
Worse, so.
And then you'll see rates increase mid-January when people are back in the market. So it's a little bit odd that we're having this, and this is market rate. This isn't the Fed. So the Fed is not controlling these market increases. It's basically investors looking for opportunities in the bond market.
Well, we have to be very delicate. I'm gonna make 2 statements so I don't lose my train of thought. So statement 1 is when you guys go online and you search rates, you're gonna see LendingTree. There's so many. Bankrate, Quicken,
Zillow, Mortgage.
There's so many. Please do not rely on that. Reach out to Robert or I, and one of our investors that is very educated in this. Not saying that Robert or I are extremely educated, but we have people who are educated because we have great partners. The next portion of this I'm going to say is I always have a mouthful.
Yes.
When we're looking at renting, right? So I'm going to rent a place. What happens when you rent a place? What do you need? First month's rent,
last month, security deposit, your first month's rent, whatever other fees and admin stuff, pet deposits, pet fees, all that stuff.
The average is anywhere from, when I read, the average is $4,500. So the average of a down payment assistance program is a $900 check back to you. Just kidding. That's not the average. I don't know that statement. That was a lie. But what I'm saying is,
here, trust me.
Is why are we renting when we have to pay an average of $4,500 to rent, knowing that there could be a rent increase, or we can inquire with yourself or myself to do a down payment assistance program with no money down prior to the interest rates increasing and potentially, honestly, get money back. I didn't anticipate it. I was like, when they handed me that $900 check, I was like, heck yeah, I can pay off Cameron's braces. All these things went through my head. I felt like it was such a blessing from above. So many people think that purchasing a home is not possible. And as they're watching rates increase and there's no homes on the market, we just have to change our thought process.
So I did have a woman reach out to me. It was a previous client and her daughter's looking in purchasing. So she called and basically told me they raised her rent about $400, and she has about 45 to 60 days to leave, basically. And so she's got a little bit of a pressure there to move on, but she did qualify for a home, qualified FHA. The tough part about DPA is getting it accepted.
I know.
That's the reality of what we're in now. The market is still being very picky. It's still a seller's market, so it's a challenge to get those accepted. But if they do, it's a tremendous benefit to you.
So that goes back to the market. So the market's balancing. So we have 0.8 months of inventory. So what does that mean to you guys?
Let me pull it up.
That means...
Well, let's go national first, and then we'll go local.
Okay. Yep.
So national numbers, if I may, they're up here. Excuse me. So nationally, we're coming to a balanced market. So there's going to be homes, and you'll see this. And again, going back to the narrative of watching the news, you'll see like news reports are like, we're coming into a balanced market. Nationally, yes. If you look from one slice of the pie, from one slice of the pie, yeah, I mean, this is the beginning of April, and we dipped to about a 3-month supply. Wow. And slowly up here, we're getting back to about a 6-month supply. So 6 months on average is a balanced market. But this is a national number. So you'll have like news agencies and people on YouTube, whatever, saying, hey, we're coming into, we're getting more supply. The housing market's going to crash, all this stuff. And so if you're believing in that, then it's going to feed that narrative for you. But that's national numbers. If you're here locally, if you're here in Phoenix, or you're looking to move to Phoenix, things are a little bit different. So if you go to the local numbers, we're looking still at about a 0.8 month supply here locally in Phoenix.
Which means that the average
people are
home
moving
is on
to
the
Phoenix
market for 24 days.
Oh, let me get my face out of there.
Yeah, your face is totally in there.
You can't even see it.
So for 24 days, that means when if you're searching Zillow, which they're not to discredit them, but they're typically behind. They are connected to our ARM list, which is our national listing service. So with that being said, they are slightly behind because they have to report and all that. But if
they also have a narrative too. They're trying to push for bigger home sales. They buy homes themselves, so they're trying to push for that. And there was some controversy regarding that too. But
do you think, Robert?
Do I think?
And whomever is listening, because I know we're only live in so many places right now.
We're restricted off Facebook.
Well, Facebook's been down all day. And it's my birthday. Usually I get like a bunch of birthday emails.
Yeah, if you're watching it, I'll give Ashley a big happy birthday. But something. Purple heart.
So yes. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna sidetrack that real quick. I walk out to my car this morning, and there's a purple card it says Ashley on it with a heart. And I open the card, which I am the type of person, I put a ton of glitters and sparkles and confetti in people's birthday cards. So when they open it, it's so ridiculously obnoxious. So I'm always very conscientious when I open cards. So I slightly open it and I peek in, and it's full of purple glitters. And it doesn't have a signature, and it just has a smiley face on it.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, who knows where I live, that I love purple hearts, and that this is like my trick. Like, you can't trick me. Like, this is my thing. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. So do you feel as if the inventory is becoming increasingly more because all the investors have come in and have had enough time, 30 to 60 to 90 days to revamp some homes, and they're putting back on the market, including Zillow, Opendoor, OfferUp. And I was driving on the freeway yesterday, and it said tattoo face guy. No, it literally said tattoo face.
The tattoo realtor.
Yeah, did you see him?
Yeah,
he's got billboards all over the I-10.
I think he spends more on billboards than he really probably does houses.
So the question was...
but I don't know. Sure.
Do you think that our inventory is increasing because all these investors have come in, they bought a lot of the inventory, they've remodeled the homes, and they're putting back on the market?
It's hard to say because there's... I know investors nationally are parking their money. And if you saw the stocks today, there was some volatility today in every indice, and so investors who are long-minded know that real estate will hedge any kind of inflationary scenario or situation, and they'll beat the markets more in real estate than they will some of this volatile crap. I mean, real estate's always going to be primary. We run out of land, so it's very scarce.
Yeah.
But as far as why they're purchasing homes, outside of that, I don't know. I don't know if they're renting them out. I don't know if they're holding them to keep them. I just know that right now we have a continued low inventory, and it's being maintained that way for a reason, and I don't know what the reason is.
I don't either.
I can only speculate.
We're such speculators. There's a country song. If you guys are country. It says...
She's a little bit of E,
huh? I am very much so. Well, one of the country songs that I really love is, you can buy this, you can buy that, but you can buy dirt. Because when you buy dirt, when you buy land, there's no more of it. So buy it.
It's scarce,
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of, I got a lot listing I just posted.
Oh, in Vernon. And in Vernon.
I got two lots in Vernon if anybody's out there.
If anybody is up in Show Low, Snowflake... in that area looking to buy up there. And I love that area.
It's nice. It's nice. It was a nice getaway this weekend to go take photos and stuff. But
oh, I didn't even see this. We should post those.
You can post them.
You can always buy dirt until there's no, because we're eventually we'll run out of dirt in Arizona. Yeah. But what was my other point I was making? You're talking about buying a home, buying dirt, scarcity.
You were asking about investors and,
Yeah. So going back to the investors, with investors remodeling properties, we've allowed them to purchase these properties out from underneath of us. There's a good and a bad. The good is hopefully that they're remodeling them enough to make them to what we're looking for.
Yeah.
But secondary is they're releasing them again. I don't know if you noticed that they're starting to release properties.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few out there. I haven't seen a whole lot. I mean, the buyers that I do have are more of those first-time home buyers. You do see a lot of those. I have a contract out for a $500,000 home on a lake. And I think the people with money who are buying a home for themselves are a little bit hesitant. The people who are investing are just looking to park their cash. And then obviously anybody that was looking for a home 400 and below has been priced out.
Parking cash is where I was going with this. So
okay.
Parking cash, sorry, I'm a squirrel. OfferUp, Open Door, Zillow, Big Purple Dot, Tattoo Guy on the freeway. That's what they're doing. They've been parking cash in these properties.
Yeah.
And because of what was happening, we created scarcity. People stopped actually purchasing. So there's a home on the corner by my house from Open Door, and it's been sitting there for 3 months now, which is mind-blowing.
Well, and they were pricing them way aggressively. They were offering more, like 50, 60,000 more to the seller. They would purchase the property. On their balance sheet, they would show all this revenue coming in, but really they are also accounting for the losses on some of them too. They would take large fees. It's crazy how, and I'm trying to understand still the business structure behind buying a house for an extreme amount of money, and then ending up, because the market's always going to dictate the price, selling it at the price it should.
Well, I think after all of this and this whole entire conversation. Yeah. Is the fact of the matter is our age demographic is steadily increasing of when people start purchasing homes. Our pricing of homes in Arizona is increasing. Our interest rates are increasing. Yep. So what is stopping anybody from buying a home right now?
Inventory.
But we already talked about inventory. They can buy. They can do a.
But I do see the direction you're going, yeah. and if you're in a situation where you're spending, I'll be frank with everybody here. The home.
Frank.
Ashley Frank, the home I'm purchasing, the mortgage payment's going to be roughly $2,200 a month.
Yeah.
On a $500,000 deal.
You have a way better interest rate than me.
And in the tenants that I just assisted in helping find a home, they're renting out at $2,193 a month, and they're renting it. And the home is just a regular 4-bedroom home, and it's just in this quaint little area. I mean, it's just astonishing. So if you can qualify, if you're in a particular spot where you need to move, or you need to move in the next few months, signing a 2-year lease is going to come at a significant cost of bunt cake. But it's going to come at a significant cost, more towards your money, and you can reacquisition that money into an investment or a home, even at a higher price. That is a lot better to have that predictability than it really is to only be in a lease for the next 12 months. And what I'm seeing too is 18 and 2-year leases, because they know that this market's not going to last forever. So they're trying to tie people into an 18-month to a 2-year lease.
And they're giving you a great discount.
Yeah. So, now we're at 30 minutes, man.
I'm sorry, that take was really good.
So the biggest takeaway is that the mortgage rates are increasing. I'm going to go and post that real quick.
Right, and prepping yourself. You guys, I cannot reiterate this enough. Prep yourself for home buying. Understand smart spending, tax breaks, increasing your credit score, a consistent monthly payment, and knowing that there's down payment assistance that's available to you. Because my house was not $500,000. My house was $370, and my payment's $2,200, and you purchased $500. So my interest rate's more because you just proved my point. I have a DPA. I didn't put any money down. Yep. And they give me back money. You put money down. But at the end of the day, we're still paying the same payment.
Yeah. So all that to say, if you didn't write it all down all at once, if you didn't have your notepad ready, if you didn't have your phone because Facebook's not working, just go ahead and call us or call your lender or somebody you feel comfortable with in this industry. I hate to say, don't listen to agents or realtors, but a lot of them just are trying to turn houses. I'm seeing a lot of just shifty, shady stuff right now regarding, agents. And I don't want to disparage anybody. I think there are people out there for true purposes. Agent is supposed to act as a fiduciary, so they're supposed to think about your best interest. I will say a family member of mine in a different area was looking at a house, and the agent, to me, felt like he was just looking at selling a house. When I reviewed the contract for my relative, there was just a lot of holes and inconsistencies that I pointed out, and they didn't move forward with that contract only because, again, there was an agent out there that just was pushing probably the sale of the house rather than the interest of the person or my family member.
Well, so, that's what's so important, and that's what I love about you is like with your past and your background with being a fiduciary for the community. Yeah. And all the stuff we do with charity with our upcoming event that's coming. So I'm going to tout that real quick. October 21st. Which October 21st, RCO Network. In the beginning, RCO Network.
The link is on below.
It's super awesome. We're actually benefiting this month it's called Cloud Covered Streets.
Yes.
And it's helping the homeless get back, basically, I shouldn't say give back all or get off the streets, but just even providing them with showers and clean clothes to make them feel more comfortable.
Tennis shoes,
sneakers and socks and the things that we don't value, like a toothbrush.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't wear socks, but putting, fresh toothbrush and toothpaste in your mouth and fresh clothes, we don't understand that. So, we definitely want to prevent homelessness. And I know with what we're going through in the future with all these foreclosures and everything that's happening, we may see an increase in that. However, our job is to educate and teach people how they can save money and still get in a home through these different programs. So I think that Robert and I are a great partners with education and teaching people how to do that.
So if you want to click on, and if you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, or want to attend our event, we do have Jill Kimmel, who's going to be our keynote speaker at our October. Jill Kimmel?
Who's Jill Kimmel?
Kimmel.
I mean Kimmel. Who is she? Who's Jill Kimmel?
Jill Kimmel is Jimmy Kimmel's sister.
Yeah, she is.
October 21st here at RCO Network. At our office location, we're going to be here. So if you want to explore and look at tickets, the tickets are linked on below. Is there anything more, Miss? It's way past the time.
I know.
It's way past 15 minutes.
I feel like this is very passionate conversation. I just want to keep people, put people in homes and keep people off the streets.
I appreciate you, and happy Purple Heart birthday to you.
Thank you.
So we're going to be catching you guys later. This is Rob Morales, RCO Network, with Miss Ashley Miller, Great American Title. Coming at you every week, Monday Market 15, the 15-minute show that takes 34 minutes. So we'll see you guys next week.
We're out.
Adios.